Hiya too, how you doing? Right, for Author Friday today, we are going to read a book which you might recognise the storyline, but it's got a different title. I wonder if you can guess what the original story is that it's from. Are you ready? This story is called Little Red Cowboy Hat, and it's by Susan Lowell and it's illustrated by Randy Cecil. Are you ready? Have you got a clue yet? Maybe. Once upon a ranch far away in the wilds of the west, there lived a little girl with red hair. Her hair was a fine colour somewhere between firecrackers and new pennies, and on top of it her grandma gave her a bright red cowboy hat. So everybody called her Little Red Cowboy Hat, or Little Red for short. One day her mother said, "Little Red, your grandma's sick in bed. Right over there and take her a loaf of this homemade bread and jar of cactus jelly." "Yes, Mum," said Little Red, who loved to visit her grandma. "Don't dilly-dally along the way," warned her mother. "No, Mum," said Little Red. "And be careful," her mother said. "It's rattlesnake season." "Yes, Mum." Do you think she's going to be careful? Do you think she's going to see any rattlesnakes? Little Red put her cowboy hat on her head and saddled her buckskin pony. That means that she climbed up to get on board of her horse. She packed the loaf of bread and jar of jelly in her saddlebag and then set off for her grandma's ranch several miles away. First, she rode down into a deep canyon, hishes that go round and round the paths. Clink, clink, crunch went the pony's feet, striking sparks from the rocks. Next, she rode up onto a wide mesa where gold poppies and blue lupins blossomed in the grass. Can you see all the beautiful flowers? "Grandma loves flowers," thought Little Red. "Oh, I'll stop for just a minute." As she was picking wild flowers, she heard her pony give a snort. "Whoa, Buck," said Little Red, turning around. "A snake?" she wondered. What do you think it is? Is it a snake the pony's seen? I don't think it is. Then she saw a wolf. "Howdy, little girl," he said. He wore a cowboy hat 3 shades blacker than a locomotive. A locomotive might be a dark train. "Hi," she said. The wolf stood between her and the pony. She didn't want to talk to him, but she'd been raised to be polite. "What's your name, honey?" he asked. He came closer than she liked. "Little Red Cowboy Hat," she answered reluctantly. That means she didn't really want to do it. She'd also been raised to tell the truth. "Red?" said the wolf. Ooh, a creepy feeling ran up her backbone and tingled in the roots of her hair. "Red as in ketchup?" he asked. "Or red as in blood?" She didn't answer. He was much too close. She couldn't count the teeth in his smile. "Where are you going, sugar?" he said. "Why not take a little ride with me?" Do you think she'd take a little ride with the wolf? I don't think so. Just then, the pony whined and reared. "Whoa, Buck!" cried Little Red. The wolf leaped away from Buck's hard hooves, and Little Red seized the reins and jumped safely into the saddle. "To Grandma's house!" she shouted as she galloped away. Quick, go, Little Red! When Little Red reached her grandmother's ranch, she didn't hear a sound except the windmill creaking. Eek, eek. The chickens didn't even cluck. Usually Grandma was outside, doctoring a cow or mixing cement. But now nothing moved except 3 buzzards circling up high in the sky. Can you see? Poor Grandma, thought Little Red. She tied Buck to the hitching post and tippy-toed into the ranch. It was as quiet as a tree full of owls. "Grandma," she called softly. Who do you think is going to be in there? Is it going to be Grandma? Let's see. She saw a big lump in her grandma's bed. The lacy edge of her grandma's shower cap peeked above the patchwork quilt. "I bought you some bread and jelly, Grandma," said Little Red. "Thank you, honey bun," said a muffled voice. Thump. What was that noise outside? Little Red stiffened. Something was wrong. "Grandma," she said, "is that you?" "Of course it is, sweetie." "I can't see you," said Little Red a little suspiciously. The lump moved. Deep down in the bedclothes, a strange dark eye glittered. "Shoot," thought Little Red. "Grandma must be really sick." "What big eyes you have, Grandma," she said. "Oh, the better to see you with, Pumpkin," said the voice. Ka-thump! The noise from outside came again. Are you recognising the story? The quilt fell away from the huge hairy muzzle. Now Little Red Cowboy Hat knew perfectly well that that was not her grandmother. But where was Grandma? She decided to string the wolf along until she found out. So she went on bravely. "Oh, what big nose you have, Grandma." "The better to smell you with, Dumpling," said the figure in the bed. Thump, thump. "And what sharp teeth you have, Grandma." "The better to eat you with, Angel Pie." And the wolf sat up bolt upright and grabbed Little Red Cowboy Hat. Thump, thump, thump. "Ow!" she screamed. "Quiet, you delicious morsel," he snarled, licking his chops. Is he going to get her? I hope not. "Oh, no, you don't," yelled a familiar voice. "Get your paws off her, you vermin." And there was Little Red Cowboy Hat's grandma. With an axe in her hand, she'd been chopping wood. The wolf dropped Little Red like a hot potato and made a break for the window. "Are you all right?" called Red. "Yes, ma'am." Oh, sorry, I said that wrong. "Are you all right, Red?" called Grandma. "Yes, ma'am." The wolf tripped over his nightgown and then he got stuck in the window. His tail waved helplessly behind him. Meanwhile, Grandma snatched her shotgun from the mantle. The mantle's like a bit of wood or metal or something that goes above the fireplace normally. "Pow! Take that, you lowlife," she shouted. "Come on, Red." Little Red leaped onto Buck and twirled her lasso. Together they chased the wolf down the road. "Tut, tut, tut," cried the chickens. "No, no," called the cattle. "Breaking into my house," puffed Grandma. "Wearing my clothes, kabam! Getting fleas in my bed, pow, wham! Messing with my granddaughter, swish, boom! You'd look mighty good as a rug, Mr. Wolf. Splat." Later, back at the ranch, Little Red Cowboy Hat and her grandma sat down to eat their bread and cactus jelly. "Now, Red, have you learned your lesson?" said Grandma. "Yep, a girl's got to stick up for herself," said Little Red. Her wind-blown hair glowed in the light of the setting sun. It was a fine colour somewhere between autumn leaves and chili peppers, and Grandma smiled as she smoothed it down. "That yellow-bellied, snake-blooded, skunk-eyed, rancid son of a parallelogram," she said. "This time he picked the wrong grandma." And they never had any wolf trouble on the ranch again. Did you enjoy that story? Now, what was the story? That's right. It's the same as Little Red Riding Hood. It's very similar, isn't it? But this person, Susan Lau, has changed the story to make it to do with a cowboy. I wonder if you could change the story. Maybe you could make it into a fairy, or maybe you could make it into a robot, or maybe you could just retell Little Red Riding Hood. It's up to you, but I look forward to hearing them. See you later.